Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. Greg, you stole my line about welcoming and our customers, our users, developers, and partners, and of course, the Scylla associates. We're really glad to have this third annual Scylla Summit. And we have a packed agenda ahead of us, 2 days, 2 tracks. In the middle of the day, we're going to switch this room into 2 tracks. So make sure that you make the best out of it, see how Scylla is used in the industry, and also deep dive into Scylla presentations from our staff. Beyond the sessions themselves, make sure that you network with others, with other colleagues, with the Scylla staff, have a peer-to-peer over beer, and have fun, and also make sure that you ask all of the questions. And post the summit, also make sure that you continue the interaction with us, either customer-wise or open source-wise. We're glad to interact with you and provide feedback and provide solutions. So digital transformation, need to say something about digital transformation, but you do not need to be a visionary to talk about digital transformation these days, maybe 5 years ago. Today, digital transformation is everywhere, and many times it's assisted by Scylla. So even if you look out there to the sky, then there's an opportunity to have more digital transformation with the skies. And there are use cases of Scylla supporting our customers like GPS Insight, who use satellite data to track location base and come up with analytics and business model with it, or Telos Lab from the agri-tech business, and they shared a very interesting use case, and it's there on our website. Now, here on Earth, we have also lots of usages for digital transformation. Natura utilize product and the richness of the rainforest, and with a little help from Scylla, delivers that to customers. Or we're very proud to support the biggest industrial use case of Scylla, supporting power supply and monitoring throughout North America and in other countries, and you'll hear it by GE. Of course, there is also communication, and we have Comcast reach millions of homes with a little help from Scylla, are able to provide better recommendation and better service for their customers. Now, big data event is not complete without speaking about automotive, and we have 2 use cases in this summit itself from Future Faraday and Auto, who uses Scylla in the automotive industry. Beyond these cases, there are plenty of other use cases today, and I bet we're going to learn about new use cases of big data and digital transformation in the future. So it's very exciting, and we're glad to assist a lot of use cases. It's been a hell of a ride so far in the past several years, and I wanted to share the major milestones with you. It wasn't simple to get here, and we'd like to get way beyond what we are today. So it started even more than 4 years ago, thousands of years ago, and back then it wasn't around digital transformation. I think that the Scylla and Charybdis monster transformed live sailors into dead ones back then. But 4 years ago, we came across Cassandra when we were doing something else. We did the OSVOS, and we figured that there's a lot of challenges that Cassandra does not apply, and there is room for improvement. Back then, we ran Cassandra on our OS, and we presented that at the 2014 Cassandra Summit. A year later, we pivoted, and through that year, we worked hard to deliver beta of Scylla in the Cassandra Summit 2015. We went out of stealth mode, and we delivered 1 million operation per single server, which was a very big accomplishment. However, we didn't know how far we are from delivering a stable distributed database. There was a lot to do after that first beta, and we have with us customers who showed us and met us for the first time 3 years ago, and they waited for stabilization through the course of the 3 years, and now they became customers. So we had a lot of patience, and we're also glad that customers had patience, and eventually we see it getting fulfilled. So over the past 3 years, we had a lot of fun doing 3 things mainly. And we had the first Scylla 1.0 release in early 2016. We had the first Scylla Summit. They didn't accept us anymore to the Cassandra Summit, so we added an adjusted Scylla Summit in 2016. And we also had a nice time besides that. We also released the first enterprise release in early 2017. It's not just us that making progress, it's the whole market. Other people had fun too, even different type of fun, but looks very fun to be up there. It's something that we strive for. And you see that this is an endorsement of Wall Street in this whole domain. So we think that it's a good progress, both for competition, but we look highly to get there. Earlier this year, we saw examples that other competition followed our tracks. Initially, we had to follow other tracks. In the past year, we see others following our tracks and our design with shard per core and thread per core. And it's nice to see that. We've made a lot of progress beyond shard per core, and we'll talk about it later on this summit. Elastic also went IPO, and that's another reinforcement. Many of you run search along with the database. This is our recommendation to run best of breed, the best database, along with the best search. Over time, we do want to get into search and to provide some search capabilities so you'll be able to run a single infrastructure and not have two. Now, we're proud to announce Scylla 3.0, which is a major accomplishment for us. We just released it as a release candidate. It's not GA'd yet. It will be GA'd over the course of the next month. But Scylla 3.0 is a major accomplishment, long anticipated. We deliver 3 major features like SSTable 3 and materialized view in a general availability shape, and also global secondary indexes. Many will discuss it, so I won't steal their thunder, and I'll just focus on the cloud. This is the second major announcement that we have to make. So we talked about in the past of delivering as a service and not just a product. It's a trend that we cannot ignore, and we'd like to enable customers with simple, self-service, fully managed Scylla-based cloud offering. And we have this, and it's arrived already. Now it's available in early availability, so it means that you need to register for it. In the upcoming few weeks, after we'll have some more mileage, we'll open it to public registration. So today, you just need to apply for the early access. And after you apply and we unlock you, by the way, it's first come, first serve. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you'll get to the platform. Once we enable your account, then you can just log into the web console, create new clusters. The model is VM-based, so it's a single tenant. You choose your VM size and the number of servers, and we manage everything for you. It means including configuration, optimization, encryption, backup, repair, etc., everything else. So it looks like this way. In a couple of minutes, you can create a cluster. Once you created a cluster, you can see all of the live machines. Access to them is only through CQL, so it's simple. You really do not need to manage anything there. Once the cluster is up, you can access it through the CQL shell or any other programming language. And this is a small attempt that I created a table after a few minutes after clicking the buttons, and it works nicely. And now it's there and available. Now the big question, there was a time that we tried to go after Cassandra. This marks another milestone where we're going beyond Cassandra. So in general, just to make sure that a Scylla service is far better than a Cassandra service because Scylla is way more flexible and agile to handle any type of data model, maybe not any type, I exaggerate, but it's far more resilient to different data models. So already Scylla service, without doing a lot, it's better than Cassandra. But there are others in the market, and we'd like to be an option, an alternative to DynamoDB, to big tables, to Cosmos DB. So we tested how competitive are we with the leading industry database as a service, Dynamo. To do that, we defined a cloud workload, YCSB based, because it's industry standard. We chose workload A, 50% reads, 50% updates, and we defined an SLA for the potential application. Something average, not too small, not too big, with 67 write per second, 60,000 read per second, and under 10 milliseconds for latency. Dataset of 1 terabyte. With Dynamo, the model is provision IOPS, so you need to buy this amount of IOPS, and this is what we reserved. And with Scylla, you need to select how many machines will run it. We thought that 3 machines of i3 8x large will be enough. So we tested that. So we started to load the data. However, things weren't that simple. It's actually not so fast, literally, because Dynamo had issues. We ran into internal server error 500. If you Google, you cannot find a lot of information about it. What we estimated is that we ingest too fast for Dynamo to happen, to process that, and we had to slow it down and reduce the amount of ingestion threads, and also add 33% more capacity beyond what Dynamo need to provide. It took us several days to do that. Sometimes it started to work, but after loading 500 gigabytes, we had this error 500, and then once you have this error, then you lose some of the data. So you need to restart from scratch, so all of the data set will be complete. So that was a little bit complicated, but eventually we managed to do that. And once we managed to do that, Dynamo was able to meet the 60 plus 60, 120,000 operations per second in total. So we compared the performance that Scylla has versus Dynamo has. So overall, it's the same throughput. It's the same throughput. Both databases have some idle times. Scylla has more, Dynamo has less. But these are the numbers that we needed to have no errors with Dynamo. And you can see that the latency of Scylla is far better, 3 to 4 times better than DynamoDB. So that's good. I hope you're satisfied with it. But what you do not see here is the price, how much it costs. And with our pricing right now with the cloud, which is more expensive than the regular enterprise and even more expensive than open source, it's still 4 to 6 times cheaper than Dynamo. So this data set is significantly a better offering than DynamoDB. And this is when the data is divided uniformed. Now, it's not always the case. In real life, there are different distributions, and it's really hard to get a perfect uniform distribution. And if it's not the case, like a Zipfian workload, which we tested, where 10,000 partitions were the hot set, and the rest were randomly touched. Then Dynamo, the problem with it is that it didn't meet the 120,000 overall operations. So while with Uniform, it's still working, although with much more costs, with more latency, with Zipfian, it's pretty much breaks apart. And the reason for it is that the IOPS reservation model with Dynamo has a problem because you buy, let's say you buy 200 writes per second. This amount is divided into a number of partitions, let's say 10. So every partition is capped with tenth the amount of overall throughput, so only 20 requests per second. And if a certain partition is accessed more than 20, more than its fair share, then you are capped. So that's a big problem with DynamoDB, and there are plenty of blogs that say that it's a problem and how you need to re-optimize your data set over and over so you won't get into this situation. Now, sometimes it's possible. Some other times, it's not possible, and you cannot design for it. And even addressed can break your database. So we tested a case where a single hot row is accessed, like the address that broke the internet. And in this particular case, then Scylla managed to sustain 20,000 requests for a single row. So we're capped too. We cannot do 120,000 requests for a single row. But Dynamo did only less than 1,000. So that won't going to fly, and it's really hard to predict sometimes to plan for such a thing. Now, the presentation was about Dynamo, but we also tested big tables. And big tables pretty much was similar to Dynamo, give or take. Somewhere it's better, sometimes it's not that better, not that good, like in this poor use case. So Scylla is pretty competitive with DynamoDB, big tables, and also Cosmos that we didn't test, but we believe that's the same case with Cosmos DB. Now, to help you, I found a flowchart on the internet that says when to use DynamoDB. It's very much detailed, but you can probably understand where I'm leading to. The third big announcement we have to make today is around SLA. It's pretty hard for databases to meet SLA. It's hard to meet SLA. We've just seen that DynamoDB and big tables have a hard time to meet SLA with a single workload. But what happens when you have multiple workloads to the same data set? That's pretty common. Now, so far, the industry best practice was to have different clusters, or even with Scylla and Cassandra, to have different virtual data centers. We're really glad to announce that we have now a capability of providing per user SLA, so you'll be able to run analytic workloads along with a user real-time workloads, and to combine the two on the same servers with an SLA guarantee that the real-time workload gets prioritized over the analytics. And this way, you can utilize your boxes in much better, more efficient, and simpler way. Avin Glober, who developed it, will give you a lot of details about it. So we accomplished a lot, but there is plenty of things to accomplish. And by the way, Jonas, I didn't even know who he is. He's a singer. Just helped. He's not my mentor. Maybe it's good, but I'll check it after the summit. So there are plenty of things that we're proud of, but also things that we need to improve. So the first thing is that we're proud of you using our software or considering to use our software. We do not get it for granted. We are challenged with the rest. We want to make Scylla ubiquitous and to be everywhere. So this is what we're trying to do. And I hope that people here will also become evangelists and help us to get there. Stronger Scylla means better for good for everyone. Another thing that I'm proud about is the mutant monitoring system. It's a blog series, educational series about how to use Scylla, and it leads you step-by-step into Scylla. So if you do not know this, then by all means, do visit our documentation and give it a try. And we'll keep on developing similar use cases in documentation. Still, our documentation is far from being complete, especially with the knowledge base. And this is something that we're going to do right after the summit. I also like to announce that Scylla University is coming, so we'll have self-serve free Scylla University with more things like the mutant monitoring system that will take you hand in hand and walk you through GitHub examples and videos and embedded together. I'm proud of our performance. This is a case of just 3 machines, i3 Metal, running on Amazon with 2 million requests per second, with, let's say, data model, which is relatively convenient to get to 2 million. But it's still 2 million. It's real. One of our engineers actually thought that there was an issue because the P99 was identical to the P99.9. But there was no bug. It just performed very, very good. We still do not think that we're there, and we'll keep on trying to improve the feature set and the performance, and we do want to get to a millisecond in the P99 when the hardware allows it, or to have a new key value special mode and optimize this case. I'm also proud about our controllers. We have a memory controller, and we have a compaction controller for every compaction strategy. There are lots of blogs that describe those accomplishments, and we automatically adapt to the running workload. So this is quite an achievement. You do not need to tune Scylla. It's almost autonomous. We're also challenged with this because it's endless amount of work. And even this use case, I'm half ashamed that we even present that, because you see all of these hills and those spikes and those, the graph should be flat. Glover explained me that we tracked the amount of memory utilization, but when cache is involved, some of the accesses behave differently. They're timed differently. So it's really challenging, and we'll keep on improving it. This means that I'm not necessarily proud about the cannabis freedom in California. I'm not against it too. I'm really proud about our wide row support. We've been improving it over the course of the past year. And the Scylla world record was found recently with a wide row of up to 130 gigabytes. That customer used Cassandra before, and Cassandra used to break with it. So this is something that we're really proud of. It's also something that we're still challenged with, and the reason that we even know that the world record was broken is because it timed out. So it's not that we recommend use wide rows everywhere. We do have the ability to be flexible with wide row models, but we'll keep on improving wide row use cases until you really won't be concerned with it. That's what we're trying to do, so you'll be able to focus on your own application and not try to optimize around the database. I'm proud of our Spark series. We released 3 blogs around Spark with a lot of information about how Spark operates, around how Spark manages to distribute accesses to different Scylla nodes in parallel. So I welcome you to visit that, and we'll release a couple of more in-depth Spark series examples. We are challenged with Kubernetes. We were a little bit behind Kubernetes. Many times we believe that Kubernetes isn't necessarily the solution, because already if you are running on the cloud, you already have a lot of the benefit of virtualization there, that you may not need another layer, and Scylla itself is efficient, so you do not need to over-provision multiple applications along with it. But we can also ignore reality. Sometimes Kubernetes provide real value, or sometimes it's just convenient. So we'll double down around our investment in Kubernetes and integration with it. We also kept improving the Linux kernel, especially around XFS. Avi will talk about it. We were challenged and still need to solve it to have easy access to unprivileged users to install Scylla, especially in the financial segment. This is coming. Most of the work was already done. If you haven't used Docker Compose yet, it's super cool, and the Spark series and the Mutant Monitoring series give great examples. With a single click, you can spin an environment with Spark, Kafka, and Scylla with materialized views. So again, highly recommend to give it a try. And it's really beneficial when you develop. You can develop on your own computers, and Docker runs now on not just on Linux, but on Mac and Windows. Make sure you test Scylla Manager that today can do automatic repair, and you can do control multiple data centers or subsets of your environment and repair them in a relatively super convenient way. And it's coming up with the next release of Scylla Manager comes up with health check, and the one after next with backup and restore, and there'll be more about it in the summit. About repair, we still have challenges, and WD-40 can help us, mainly around future incremental repair, which we are trying to get to. If you haven't checked our publication around scaling up, then please do so. I'm very proud to have a pure scale up where if you rebuild a small node and keep doubling the amount of the size of the node and the amount of data, then it will take you linear time to rebuild the node with Scylla. And any other administration operation with Scylla is supposed to scale up linearly. Performance isn't everything, and we do need to add some APIs, especially long anticipated lightweight transactions. Now that we deliver materialized view, we'll be able to focus on it and add capture data change, and there are more APIs beyond what we have listed here. I'm proud of our tech support, and the reason is that I say tech support is because so far I believe that we provide more than support. We are there for you, not just when Scylla has problems, but also when your environment is having a problem. We are glad to hold your hand and provide full service. And sometimes we're going through walls and solve things that cloud providers today leave you alone and do not solve your problems. We don't make a lot of this distinction between the Scylla boundaries and Linux and your environment. So go ahead and engage with us if you're a customer or if you're an open source user too. And as something to prove that so far no single customer has left us, and most of our customers are doubling down on Scylla, and we're also proud about it, and we do not take it for granted. Now, what's next? There are a couple of things, and I'll speak about what's next in the terms of what's coming in the next year, not in the far future. Not sure that we'll manage to implement everything within the course of the next year, but in the near term. So in the near term, there are a couple of things. The first one is better Cassandra. We need to complete lightweight transaction. There are new features that are about to get into Cassandra. Not a lot of them. We have more developers than the Cassandra project. It's mainly transient replication and incremental repair that we have depth, and also UDF that I just chatted with users, and they anticipate for it. And we're planning to implement UDF with Lua. It shouldn't be too complex, especially for me. Because I just say so, yeah, to be clear. My developers are, gladly I do not need to run through the interview process for being a developer at Scylla. The next session is, the next theme is a better cloud. So today's cloud is based on Scylla, and it's great, but there are more cloud-oriented features, integrations that are missing. So today you can only access the public IP. Very soon you'll be able to access it through your own VPC and have multi-DC. Scylla, it's ready for it. It's just to finalize the integration with the cloud provider APIs. In the future, we'll also move beyond and have improvements within the Scylla core, like providing IOPS model when it makes sense, not necessarily all of the time. Have dynamic nodes, so to try to detach between the storage and the compute, like a tiered storage, and more protocols. In the better Scylla class, there is CDC and tiered storage and columnar storage and many more things that my colleagues will provide details for. And the last one is better management, full provisioning using Scylla Manager, better monitoring, and Kubernetes operator. So all of these will come over the course of give or take the next year, and this is what we'll be focusing on. And that's it pretty much. Hope you have a great time. All of our staff will be here, and again, feel free to talk with us. We have meeting rooms upstairs, and that's it pretty much. I am pleased to invite Avi Kiviti, our CTO and co-founder, to give the next keynote, which will be more technical. So, thank you.